Welcome to another lesson of Living World Year 10. So this is lesson 10 and it's the last lesson on rainforests before we move on to looking at our second different biome, which is going to be a hot desert biome. So today we are focusing on the future of rainforests and how we can protect them for the future, but also allow people to use them to make money and create jobs now. You don't need the booklet for today's lesson. All of the work that you are going to do needs to be on a worksheet if you're able to do it on a worksheet or on paper. The first the first thing that we need to be able to understand before we can look at the rest of today's lesson is what the term sustainable means and why we need to manage the rainforests sustainably. So there are two reasons for this, two parts to something being sustainable, and they are that we can use the rainforests now and that we can use them in the future. So we don't use them so much now, we don't destroy them so much now that they can't be used in the future. So sustainable management of a rainforest is to ensure that rainforests remain a lasting resource for future generations. So they allow it to be used and to prevent long-term damage. And there are lots of different ways that we can do this. You are going to be looking at four of them today, and they are selective logging and replanting, conservation and education, ecotourism, international agreements, hardwood forestry, and debt reduction. So we're going to look at all of those methods today. Your main task for today, which should take you about 20 to 25 minutes, is you are going to be completing a table of information about these four different methods. This table can be found on Show My Homework as either a Word document for you to type into or a PDF if you want to print it off. Or if you're not able to do any of those things, you can just draw out a table of your own. Now, as you can see, I've already started to put some of the information in, but the rest of the information you need to find either in this video and the sections coming up in this video, or pages 66 and 67 in the textbook. Remember that you have online access to the textbook via Caboodle. If you're not sure how to do that, contact your teacher. So this activity should take you about 20 to 25 minutes, and there is a stretch activity at the bottom for you to have a go at, especially those of you looking at grades 6, 7, 8 and 9. Selective logging then is a really important way that we can ensure we can still use the rainforest resources without destroying them for the future. So as you should know by now, logging is the removal of trees to actually use the wood for furniture, paper, toilet roll, etc. But with selective logging, what happens is rather than just destroying a whole section of the rainforest and cutting all of the trees down, the people who manage each particular part of the rainforest will map every single tree and how big it is and how much carbon it is able to absorb, and they will decide year by year which trees are ready to be cut down, and they make sure that they only cut down a few trees in each area so that it doesn't destroy or really affect the ecosystem. Once they've cut down a tree, which they do in the kind of most environmentally friendly way possible without destroying any of the surrounding vegetation, they will then replant that tree and allow it at least 30 to 40 years before they start to take away any of the other trees in that area. So it's done really carefully, really sensitively to make sure that they don't destroy whole areas of the rainforest. They just kind of cherry pick individual trees from each area. Ecotourism then is a really important way that we can protect the rainforests, and clues in the name, ecotourism is about people visiting rainforests and going on holiday to these areas, but ecotourism is very different from your package holiday where you spend a week in Spain and spend most of the time by the pool or in the sea. Ecotourism is responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment and improves the well-being of local people. So ecotourism basically is tourism where small amounts of people will go on holiday to visit natural areas, so we're talking rainforests, could be places like Antarctica, and people go there to see the nature, they go to see the animals, the plants, etc., and they do it in a way that doesn't harm the environment or has minimal impact on the environment, and they employ local people to do it. So it means the money made by this tourism doesn't go back to some big American company, it stays in that local area. What I would like you to do is pause this video. I would like you to click on the other YouTube link that's on Show My Homework, which is a 5-minute video about ecotourism in Brazil, and then use that information and the information in the book to complete your ecotourism section of the table. There are 2 other methods, which are international agreements and forestry. And what I would like you to do for those, please, is to use the information that's in the textbook to complete them. And once you've done that, we're going to do a little summary activity, which should take you no longer than 15 minutes. It is a crossword. It is a difficult crossword, I won't lie. But if you have done your research in today's lesson and you've written down all of the key terms that you need, you should be able to do this crossword. So it's attached as a separate PDF on Show My Homework. If you can print it off, that's probably the easiest way of doing it. If you can't print it off, it doesn't matter. You can just write down one across and then the word that goes with it. So I've given you a clue already that one across is international agreements. That might help you fill in some of the other answers. So pause this video, have a go at the crossword, and then there's one short activity to do at the end. Okay, last activity for today then, Year 10, is a Kahoot. We've not done a Kahoot for quite a while, and I'm hoping that I've managed to set this Kahoot up so that it works as an individual challenge. You don't have to play against each other all at the same time. You can complete it on your own, but I still get a copy of the score. So there is a link to this Kahoot challenge, it's called, on Show My Homework. But to do it, you are going to have the app. So if you don't have the app on your phone or on your tablet or anything like that, you might not be able to complete it, in which case please just ping me an email and I'll send you a different link to it so that you can do it yourselves. You can also search for this on Kahoot if you want to play against your friends. And I will see you all next lesson.